Yeah, I thought I'd do a video on something a little, a little bit different. I know I'm usually telling people what a bunch, what a bunch of jerks you are, and things like that. But I do it out of fun. Uh, of course, you know who you are. If you think you're a jerk and you believe in me, then you must be a jerk. But overall, I think you, especially the people that watch my show, are pretty darn nice people. They really are. And I really like you, really. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something I've been pondering and thinking. Yes, I do ponder. I do ponder and I do think and I analyze things, boys and girls. I think and analyze. And one of my favorite subjects, and that is really dear to my heart, believe it or not, is God. And I know you're thinking, well, how can somebody that insults people believe in God? Well, I can. I don't know. How would I know if you're an asshole or not, You might be a jerk, but I don't know if you're an asshole. Some of you are probably pretty decent people, really. But I've always believed in God, and I do now more than ever believe in God. I've analyzed things. I've thought about things. I've prayed about things. And I have had, believe it or not, I've had so many miracles in my life that my family, my sisters, tell me that I should write everything down in a book because I've had so many miracles happen to me. And I believe in prayer 100%. But anyway, I've been looking at different things on the internet for a few years, and I just ran across recently a preacher. What does she call herself? Brother. Anyway, her name is Kerr, Katkerr, and I've been watching. I've watched hours of her talking and preaching, and she makes a lot of sense on a lot of things that she says, and I believe in a lot of things that she says. But there's a lot of things that she says that I don't, that doesn't really ring true to me or make any sense, and it's not what I would think heaven would be. She claims that she's been to heaven thousands of times, and God and Jesus, she's so like buddies with God and Jesus, that occasionally they just, come through the wall in her home, and they're there to chill with her, God and Jesus, But she's been to heaven thousands of times, and that in and of itself sounds a little bit fishy to me, that she's so buddy-buddy with God and Jesus, because here's Moses, a really righteous prophet that, led the people, into the desert or out of Egypt, parted the Red Sea with the help of God, went up to Mount Sinai, I guess, or whatever you call it. I can't remember the name of it. And got the Ten Commandments. Wasn't able to see God at the time. He had to take his shoes off, or his sandals off, or whatever he was wearing, because where he was standing by God and communicating with God was on holy ground. And all that he did, and as righteous as he was, and the to be an instrument in God's hands by having that Exodus and being able to part the Red Sea. Don't you think he was pretty darn close to God? Don't you think God favored him? But yet, he never saw God. He never saw God. He saw his burning bush. He might have seen the finger of God. But he didn't see God. He wasn't buddies with him. And I think about it, he, was in the wilderness 40 years after, bringing these people to freedom. And all that he did for God, that God didn't show himself to him, to Moses. But yet, Kat, she's buddies with him, She's been to heaven thousands of times. She's seen all these mighty miracle things that go on up there, all these secrets, all these amazing things. And God and Jesus, occasionally just pop in. When she's in heaven, she goes golfing with Jesus, apparently. At times, somebody said that in some of the things that she said that there was a time that she went golfing with Jesus. God apparently drives a Harley Davidson. Now think about it. Let's analyze this thing. You may not agree with me, but if Moses, as righteous and humble and good as he wasn't able to see God, how is it that this gal with pink hair, because God wants her to have pink hair, and he wants people to start, dyeing their hair pink and purple and green, and also to have tattoos, and little symbols of God on the tattoos and things like that. How is it that this woman has such a close relationship with God and Jesus when Moses couldn't even see God? Does that make sense to you? It does. I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense to me. I was listening to her last night. She was giving a sermon, or whatever you want to call it, about her revelations. Yeah, that's what she calls herself, a revelator. But she was giving revelations and sermon at this building. Sweetheart, no. I've got to talk to my cat for a minute here. No, sweetheart. I'm out of treat. Sorry. Anyway, she was giving a sermon, and she said that there are angels outside of the building standing guard that are 200 feet high, and there's 40 million of them to make sure that she's safe and the people that are there are safe and protected. There's 40 million 200-foot angels that are standing guard around the building. Now, maybe there are some angels that are standing guard, but I think she exaggerates. I don't. I watch her, and there's so many things that she says that I think are logical, and I think they're true. There's a lot of things that I think that are true that she says, but when she talks like that, you can't tell me that she doesn't exaggerate things. I don't believe it. I don't believe there's 40 million 200-foot angels outside, and they don't look like angels. They're like beasts, like lions, and scary looking, to scare the crap out of the evil ones. Why not 100,000 of them? Why would there be 40 million of them? Don't you think that's an exaggeration? Why not? Why not 50 of them? But 40 million? Things like that, I think she exaggerates. She just makes, I watch her, and I think she makes up things as she goes along. She's a master at talking. I know I'm not a master at talking. I'm a master at a lot of other things. But I know I'm not a master at talking. But she's very gifted. I don't know if she gets her gifts from God or from Satan, or she's just gifted her whole life being a good speaker, But you watch her, and she's just one thing after another, and at times, like I say, I think she exaggerates on things. I'll go over a few of the things that I've watched her and listened to her say over the last week or so, and I want to see what you think about it. I'll tell you right now, I really do love God, and if you want to put comments on my site, how much you hate God, or that it's like the Santa Claus or whatever. If you have any negative things about God, your comments are gone. Your comments are gone. If you put other people down for what they think, if they, and everybody's welcome to say what they think, except I don't want using God's name in vain, and I don't want the F word, and I don't want evilness. It's, you've got your free agency to think what you like, and but I'm going to. I'll tell you now, the asshole comments, they're out of here. Now, some of the things that she's talked about is she's been several times into the throne room where God sits on his throne. I believe he does have a throne. He sits on it, and Christ is on the right hand of him. She claims that in the throne room that there are 4 peacocks about 200 feet high, 2 on each side of God at all times. And she talks about all the eyes on the feathers. They symbolize different things, the seeing eyes and things like that. But she says that God and Jesus, they like sweets. They like candy. And inside the throne room, that there's, going up the stairs, there's flowers on one side, and then there's a lot of candy going up the stairs on the other side, going up to God sitting on his throne. Now, do you believe that? I don't. He might like candy. I like candy. But I don't think in a sacred setting as God's throne room, wouldn't that be like the Holy of Holies? Anyway, I don't think that it's a smorgasbord of candies going up the staircase. I just don't believe that. I'm sorry. If God likes candy, I'm sure that he can probably go into his mansion or other places besides the throne room and have candy if that's what he wants. But I don't think there's candy all over the throne room. She says that people are really having a lot of fun up there. She's seen people line dance and people, singing all the time, rap music and stuff like that going on. It's just a real fun time. She says 50% of heaven is fun, baby. It's fun, and and if that's true, that's nice. I hope it is. I hope that 85%'s fun. Where'd she get off this 50% crap at? I hope 85%'s fun. But she claims that all these things that, and I don't doubt that there's line dancing for people that enjoy doing that, or square dancing. I don't question that there's ballrooms, people can go dancing and kind of have that experience again in heaven, because that was heaven to them, or part of heaven to them, doing that. So I don't doubt for a minute that that's possible, or that's it doesn't seem odd to me that if God loves us and he wants us to be happy, that he'll give us the things that made us happy. And we'll have those things in heaven, like animals, for instance. I really believe 100% that we'll be with our pets. If you were God, seriously, if you were God and you created people, and there were certain people that had dogs and they had cats, and they loved their animals as family members, and they died, and they were mourning for him and missed him, wished that they could hold him like a child. Do you think for a minute that God would not allow people to be with these dear pets departed? I mean, if you were God, would you say, no, I'm sorry, you're not going to have, Rover, and you're not going to have, the cat's name, Sally, or whatever it is. I don't care if you love him and miss him and want to be with him. That's tough. You're not going to. I don't believe that God would do that. I don't think a loving God, would do that. I think he wants to be good to you. He wants you to be happy. So I believe 100%, and she says that that's true, that the cats and dogs and pets are not only there, they eat at the table with you. In your mansion, they eat at the table with you. They talk with you. And I don't have a problem, believing that. I really don't. I don't have a problem at all. But I feel sorry, and I've had some experiences in my life, and probably will have other experiences in my life with pets that I have. Sorry, sweetheart. No, honey, I don't have any treats, honey. I'm sorry. Dad has to go to the store. Don't start bugging me. But anyway, where was I? I've had experiences in my life where I've lost pets, and I want to be with them again. And I find it comforting to believe that God would give that to me and give it to everybody. Okay, she also says that she saw Christopher Reeves, the guy that played Superman, in heaven. And he's not only in heaven, he teaches people how to fly. I think that she makes up things as she goes along. Do you really believe, seriously, in your heart of hearts, do you think that Christopher Reeves up there is teaching people how to fly? He didn't know how to fly. It was acting. Christopher Reeves didn't fly. Superman didn't fly. But yet he's teaching people how to fly because he knows how to fly. And they might think it's fun. They might think it's a groovy thing to have Christopher Reeves train him on how to fly. See, I'm sorry, I don't believe that. I mean, if it's true, I don't have any problem with it. What about the people before Christopher died that was teaching people to fly? What happened to them? Did they retire? I don't think they get old in heaven, so why would they retire? Maybe they got tired of it. Maybe they're teaching people how to knit now. I don't know whether I believe that. It's not a difficult thing for me. If that's true, it's true. Michael Jackson's apparently in heaven. Well, I think he was a great singer. I also think that he had no right, and that he was evil, holding his crotch on stage, performing in front of people and young people, children. Yeah, you can sing and you can moon dance and all kinds of stuff. And he was good. I think she said. Anyway, no. There's somebody else I was listening to that said Michael Jackson's not in heaven and he's in hell, and the moon dance is something the demons do. Where he moon dances, and he says that's exactly how the demons in hell walk. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think Michael Jackson kind of, I don't know if he created it or he figured it out how to moon dance. I think it was cool. I wish I could moon dance. I think it looked neat myself. I don't think his crotch looked neat. I don't think he had any business touching his crotch every 15, 20 seconds on stage when he did concerts. I don't think that's heavenly like. But he might be in heaven. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how God operates or was in Michael's heart, or if he repented, before he died. I don't know. I can't judge that, but I'm just telling you some of the things that she said. They have roller coasters in heaven, amusement parks. You know, they very well could have amusement parks. Our Earth has amusement parks. People seem to enjoy it. I don't have any problems with that. Big roller coasters and different things. They have movie theaters apparently in heaven. I don't have any problem with that. She says if you're watching a John Wayne movie or whatever, oh, John Wayne's there too. I don't have any problem with that. But if you're watching a cowboy show and John Wayne's in there, but if you want to, you can either watch it, on the screen, or you can actually go into the movie and be there in the movie itself. If that's true, I think that's wonderful. I think that'd be great. Holograms and all that kind of stuff. I think that'd be groovy. Okay, there's restaurants, Pizza Huts. Well, she didn't say Pizza Huts, but great big huge table-sized pizzas that you can get at restaurants. If you're a chef on Earth, that you can be a chef in heaven and have your own restaurant. I don't have any problems with that. Playing golf with Jesus. I think he probably has other things to do that might occupy his time, but if you can actually play golf with Jesus or go bowling with him or something, I think that's great too. I don't know if it happens. Oh, and you ought to look at some of her YouTube videos. She has there's certain cheerleading things that she says came straight from God, like a pep rally. Like you're a cheerleader and you have different things that you do and certain ways that you move your arms, and as you move your arms and hands, you say certain things, and those things are supposed to stop evil and things like that. You watch her moves and the things that she says. It looks to me it looks stupid. She says it's from God. I don't know if it is or not. It looks dumb to me. If it's from God, I'm sorry that I said it looks dumb, but to me it looks dumb. I think there's other ways that you can do stuff. To keep away evil spirits and things. I don't think you have to go onto a pep rally and dance around and look dumb. And she's got pink hair. That's one of the first things I noticed about her. I thought, oh, this girl's odd. This woman is odd. She's got pink hair. Or, a good portion of it's pink. But she said that that's what God wants her to do because that makes her stand out from the crowd. Well, you know what it makes me think when I see someone with pink hair? I think they're a weirdo. It doesn't have righteousness all written all over it. I think they're weird. And they're maybe a little touched, or a little Satan stuff going on, or it doesn't feel like a religious thing to me, and a God ordained thing to have pink hair, blue hair, green hair. Tattoos that have God symbols on it, things like that. I don't believe that. I don't buy it. I can accept it, but I don't think it's true. But who am I? Let's see, I'm just trying to go over a few of these things. Yeah, I told you God drives the Harley Davidson. Oh, and they have comedy clubs, for comedians to die. That they have their own comedy clubs you can go to. There's angels that are comedians, and that's fun. When you go eat, that you just think about the food that you want, whether it's a pizza or a nice steak dinner or whatever, and it just appears. I can believe that. It just appears, and you eat, and it tastes, 1,000 times better than what it tastes on Earth. I can believe that. I have no problem believing that. And then nobody gets fat. There's no waste. I can believe all those things. Everything's made of light. The food's made of light. Everything's made of light. I can believe that. I don't know if it's true or not, but I can buy that. Let's see, what else is there? all that people, when they die, they don't stay old. I've always believed that they go to a, she doesn't say this, but the church I belong to says that they're restored to a proper and perfect frame. I believe that. People, her and other people that have had near-death experiences have always said that their loved ones don't look old. They look like they're in their, you know, middle 20s to, you know, early 30s or whatever, in their heyday or whatever you want to call it, and their bodies are beautiful. They're perfect. She also said that we're always learning, which I believe, 100% I believe that. That there's different degrees of glory. I believe that. She says there's portholes. There are certain areas in heaven where you can go, and it's a great big porthole with railings around it. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of it. I think of a lot of things up here, boys and girls, but I wouldn't have thought of this. Maybe she saw it in a Star Wars film or something. I don't know. But she says there's a huge porthole, several different places around heaven, with railings around it that people can look over the railing, and they can look upon their loved ones, what they're doing. So they can look at weddings, they can look at funerals, they can look at people, their loved ones that are having problems or happy, kids graduating at high school, whatever it is. And they can look down on this porthole and experience, as if they were there, experience what their families are doing, and wishing them well and having that experience. I have no problem, zero problem with that. I hope that's true. I think that'd be a neat thing to have. She says there's several different modes of transportation in heaven. One is chariots. She says, you know, Jesus or God might drive up on his chariot. He might come and get you when you die on his chariot, and you go into the chariot and go to heaven. I don't know. It's possible. She says that the early prophets, Moses and Noah and whatever, sometimes they just, you know, they go to first of all, everybody gets a mansion. I believe that. I believe, I mean, and that's biblical, that in my Father's house are many mansions. So that's not far-fetched for me to believe that people that are good and honor God and love God and have lived a righteous life have a mansion in heaven. I believe that 100%. I don't know how big my mansion will be, but I know it's going to be bigger than yours. Not really. I don't mean that. Do you think I mean that? How would I know? I know it's going to be bigger than yours is. But anyway, she says that prophets, you know, Noah and Moses, whatever, they'll just pop in and say hi to you, you know, in your mansion, you know, and maybe, you know, come in and have, you know, a little get-together, or, you know, maybe have a piece of pie or whatever, you know. Do you think that really goes on? If it does, that'd be great. I don't know how Christ, with all the millions and millions and millions of people that are died in heaven, I don't know how Christ can appear to so many people on a one-to-one basis and have that relationship, you know. Maybe he can be several places at one time, and every place that he is, people will have that one-on-one with him and feel a connection that they're the most special person at that time because Jesus is there. And at the same time, different realm or whatever, other people are having that same experience. I can buy that. You know, I think that there are so many things that we don't know about that I can buy that. That doesn't worry me at all. Let's see. There's a body parts place shop up there, whatever you want to call it. It's a huge room that has body parts. It has hearts, it has kidneys, has eyeballs. And these are body parts that when people pray for themselves or about themselves, or people praying for other people that they might get their sight back, or whatever, or their heart might heal, or whatever it is, that if they're righteous enough, that a body part that they have, like with their name on it, if somebody's missing an eye, that a brand new eye is waiting on the shelf for that person, you know. And it's possible for them to have their eye that's a brand new eye, or a brand new heart, or a brand new thing, and it's in a warehouse. It's a body parts warehouse. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that or not. I think that God could snap his fingers if he wanted to and let you have a new heart. There's doctors that are amazed where people have a death sentence and they're amazed that they recovered, fully recovered. And it's a miracle. I think that if God wanted to give somebody a new kidney, or, that's like new, he doesn't have to go to the store. Where's it? No, see, here's the kidney. Here, grab the kidney and take it. Have an angel go down and deliver it. Yeah, I don't think he has to do that. He can snap his fingers and it's in. That's what I think. Of course, I could be wrong. She predicted Donald Trump would be president of the United States before he was elected. And, of course, that happened. There was a 50-50 chance there. But I am thrilled that he was elected. You can hate me if you want. I didn't like Hillary. I think she was a liar, a cheat. She was dishonest. Yeah, Trump had some problems with, women or whatever, talking about women. It was shop talk. I think there's a lot of guys that mingle with other guys that say, "Oh man, you should have." When I was in high school, I not only took out one cheerleader, I had two at one time. I went out on a date with two of them at one time, and both of them got nude. Oh, we were doing it all night long, baby. I think there's guys that are full of crap that like to brag. They like to denote themselves, or what do you call it? And they do exaggerate things. And I think a lot of people do that, and Trump might have done that. Or maybe he did, have women, or talk about women like that, but I'm sure he's not alone. But I really honestly believe that Trump was ordained, whatever you want to call it, by God to lead this country at this specific time in America. I really do. I like Trump, You can hate me if you want. I don't care. I'm telling you what I like, what I feel, and I feel that Trump will take this, think about it for a minute. Trump has his reputation on the line. He has said he's going to do this, he's going to do that, he's going to do this other thing. He's going to make America great again. He's not going to let other countries push us around. He has his words, and he has his reputation online. Do you think he wants to be, think about it for a minute, do you think he wants to be a president after his term is up and after somebody else is put in? Do you think he wants to be known as the asshole president that was a liar? Because that's going to ruin him, or help ruin him and his businesses for the rest of his life. He didn't have to run to be a president. He can make more money running his businesses. He doesn't have to have all this pressure about the other countries and all this other stuff. I think he did it. He might be on an eagle trip, but I really believe that down deep he did it because he really loves America, and he really wants us to be treated fairly, and he's sick of having a corrupt government. I really believe that. 100% I believe that. And I really believe that God wants Donald to be president at this time in our life. If you don't believe it, I don't care. She says, this cat later says that Jesus likes to play practical jokes on people. It doesn't bother me. Parents can raise their babies. If there's abortions or kids die, early or whatever, stillborns, whatever, that the babies, even though they know their parents and they can talk and communicate with their parents through telepathy, that the parents will have the honor and privilege to be able to raise their child. That that's not taken from them, that opportunity to raise their child. I believe that. I have no problem with believing that at all. Uh, let's see. I'm trying to. Oh, the one thing that. Oh, she claims that Jesus and God are separate beings. I've always believed that. I don't understand. Seriously, I don't understand why there are so many Christian people that think they have the answers, and they don't. There's so many. I mean, the word in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. I mean, that could be interpreted a lot of different ways. It doesn't necessarily mean that it was Christ. It could be the Word of God. Christ is the Word of God, isn't he? Christ and God are one in purpose, aren't they? You've seen me, you've seen the Father. Couldn't a father on earth say, well, if you've talked to my son, it's like talking to me? We have the same principles. God and Jesus, people, are both perfect. So if you've seen me, you've seen the Father, because they're both perfect. If they were the same person, who in the hell was Jesus praying to in the Garden of Gethsemane? He was praying to his Father. He wasn't praying to himself. When he says, if it's possible, please have this cup pass from me. He was praying to his Father. When Mary appeared to him at the tomb, or when Christ appeared to Mary at the tomb, she didn't know who he was at first. Then she realized it was Christ, and she was going to fall at his feet or whatever. He said, touch me not, as I have not yet ascended to my Father in heaven. Was he ascending to himself? There are so many places in the Bible, boys and girls, that indicate that God and Jesus are different. They're separate. Sweetheart, no. I mean, there's just tons of stuff, but yet they hang on to the one thing. Oh, in the beginning was the Word, whatever. Okay, I can say a lot of things. I can say, they say, well, people call Jesus God or Lord or whatever, Hey, I can call, there's people on this earth, boys and girls, that call Britney Spears a princess. I don't think Britney Spears is a princess. I think she's more like garbage, flaunting her body and acting sexual and different things. I don't think she's a princess, but there's people that think, oh, she's a princess. Oh, man, I'd like to get her once in a while, Doesn't mean she's a real princess. If they say she's a princess, doesn't mean she's a princess. There's a lot of lords. I mean, Lord of the vineyard and Lord of the mansion, Lord of the estate. Well, I mean, people back in those days used to have lords. There's a lot of lords and gods or whatever around, but people, they're blind. They're separate people. God and Jesus are separate. They're not the same. By saying that they're the same, you're robbing God. You're creating identity theft with God. You're not supposed to pray to Mary. You're not supposed to pray to Christ. You're supposed to pray to God. Jesus told you how to pray. Anyway, but watch this cat girl, and I mean, if she is from God and she's been to heaven several thousand times, and Moses never did make it or never saw God, but but she's buddies with God and Jesus. They just pop in her house once in a while. She's been up to heaven 1,000 times, plays golf with Jesus, goes in the throne room and where God is, and has candy, whatever. She's either unbelievable, and she acts unbelievable with the things she says, or she's a crackpot and a fake. You decide. Look at some of her YouTube videos. I saw one the other night where she was she looked like she was possessed. It was unbelievable to see, but she was acting like, or appearing to have, God inside of her, and he was giving the message through her to the people in the congregation. It was scary to look at. It's like she was possessed. Anyway, if you don't like what I say or believe in the things, I'd like to hear from you. And as I said, and I mean it, that if you put the Lord down or God down, your things are, your little comments are out of here. And I'll still do crazy videos. It doesn't mean that I don't have any respect for you or people. I think it's fun. It's fun to put on a different character and and just have some fun. The reason I do my videos is to put a smile on your face. I want you to think, this guy's nuts. This guy's a complete moron. That's music to my ears, baby. But I have another side to me, and the other side is I love God. I believe in God. I've had so many things happen to me. Someday I will tell you, but I don't doubt for a second that God is real, and someday I'll tell you about the things that's happened to me that are complete miracles, and they're from God. I absolutely know 100% that they are. Anyway, have a great day. If you think I'm nuts, doesn't make any difference. You thought I was nuts anyway. Get a grip.